Friends, thank you for standing in the gap. Watchmen on the walls. It has been an intense 12 hours. Any minute now, some of these loud explosions are going to stop, supposedly, if the ceasefire does come happen. And so, I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I just want to fill you in and thank you for praying. It was a very daring last minute mission I was on. I mean, you gotta picture this: explosions, tanks, Shawaz bombs, fallen missiles from the enemy. You know, you can even have shrapnel that triggers some other explosions. You could even have, with such an amount of movement of troops and tanks, people can get run over, people can get shot by accident. And, you know, we got grenades going, and the Vulcan gun can shoot like 6,000 rounds a minute. Eardrums can rupture. I'm, of course, on the MAV, on the that heavy machine gun with the 7.62 millimeter bullets, and overheating can happen. So it was wild. A bunch of people almost died, but we're actually all okay. The mission was to get some last minute high profile hostages, living or dead. And you know the story of Gilad Shalit, how he was released eventually, but he was pulled into a tunnel, right? Everybody knows everybody in Israel. And so people know the name Gilad Shalit. And so my brother, I think, knew him personally. And what happens is also Golden, right, was at the very same time, Hadar Golden was taken into a tunnel, that very same tunnel. Anyway, long story short, also Staff Sergeant Oron Shaul, but that was in a different part. So I was in the south, and other teams were in Sajaiya area, where, you know, an anti-tank missile, like an RPG, hits his personnel carrier in 2014, and then which carried 7 soldiers. A bunch of them died, and they said that they captured him, and they showed Hamas showed some evidence, like his photo ID, and his family was praying and believing he'd be rescued. He's been rescued last night. Dead, but his body will be buried, and it really felt like such a moment, such a coming together in unity of all kinds of Israel Defense Forces in the last few minutes to really look for these hostages, dead or alive. I remember we were stuck there in the front line of contact with the enemy, and twice we got stuck, really, in this like sinking sand. It felt like, I mean, the tanks could barely get through it. 2 different times, but I just want to say this: everybody, well, almost everybody, including the bomb dogs, the ones that smell the bomb dogs and the attack dogs, everyone handled each aspect of this mission with such a supernatural calm. I'm really honored to be part of the Israel Defense Forces, part of Yahalom, and I still got my hearing in my ears. The moment we've all been waiting and praying for has arrived, is arriving. By the way, that's an Iranian fuselage from those missiles they shot on us. After 471 days, Rumi Gonen from Kfar Vadim, Emily Dumari, Doron Steinbrecher, they're both from Kfar Aza, are set to be released after 471 days. And you remember when they were attacked at that Nova festival where they were abducted and her phone call cuts off and shouting and gunshots in Arabic are heard? And she's a British citizen, Emily is, and lived in Kfar Aza. And I met her mom. Her mom was so heartbroken. She said, if you see her, please, please, he's talking to me, just weeping, rescue my daughter. Call to her in those tunnels, and call to her by her nickname. And everybody's been so broken, right? And Doron Steinbrecher, she's taken from her home in Kfar Aza. Her last communication included an audio message to her friends saying, "They've got me. They've got me." You can listen to it. And her family has been advocating around the world, putting all the pressure on they could. And Rumi's family expressed overwhelming emotion with her father, just weeping and comparing the waiting period to the childbirth, waiting for the baby to come forth, and her brother sharing his hope that she'll return. Emily's mother, Mandy, is the one I met, and she calls for an immediate action, and she's been doing so much around the world, and they're all such heroes, and of course, I don't know what kind of things they're going to have to say about their time in captivity. I guess we'll all hear it soon. And their suffering will be turned, their mourning will be turned into smiles and joy. And I just can't wait to see the smiles. And I know there's going to be a lot of healing from psychological trauma, from PTSD for these girls and for many others. And these are the moments we've all been waiting and praying for.